On a beautiful Saturday afternoon inside the Ocean First Bank Center, two of the best teams in the MAC square off as Rider travels to take on Monmouth. Good afternoon, everyone. We welcome you to ESPN College Basketball. With Steve Bazaz, I'm Eddie Acapinti, and we thank you for tuning in. Steve, here this afternoon, Monmouth prepares to host Rider, the top team in the league. The Broncs have won 7 of 8 to start conference play.
In a lot of Riders games, they've actually fallen behind by double figures in the first half, but have used that great athleticism and versatility to storm back. They're plus 79 in a turnover battle this year, get a lot of steals, and storm back in all those games.
This is a matchup of two of the top 3 teams in the league as Monmouth comes into this one off a 66-55 win at home over Siena, bouncing back after 2 losses on the league's Western New York road swing. Steve, we talked about versatility, we talk about balance, and that really describes our Rider impact player perfectly in Frederick Scott.
Freddie Scott, the 6th man of the year last year in the MAC, having a great slate to his conference play, 13.5 points per game and 7 rebounds per game. Such a matchup nightmare, can really put it on the floor for a big, maybe the most versatile player in the league.
And lead this balanced Rider team in scoring, and for Monmouth, we'll go down low, Steve, as if they are to play well against this top team in the league in Rider, they might have to go to the broad shoulders of Diago Quinn.
But Diago Quinn has emerged as an all-league type player in his senior season for the Monmouth Hawks. The Monmouth Hawks' success definitely correlates with the great play of Diago Quinn down low. They need to get him the ball as many times as possible today.
Quinn and Scott, two of the impact players that we'll keep an eye on in this game. There is a lot of star power here this afternoon, and a lot of that resides on that man's bench. Kevin Baggett, 7th season at Rider, 2 times been honored as the league's coach of the year, and has assembled the most talented team in the league off to a 7-1 start coming into play here this afternoon. On the other sideline, another 2-time winner of the MAC Coach of the Year, King Rice. Coach Rice at 6-4 has this Monmouth team, and this is a big matchup here this afternoon, Steve. There's 3 teams in the league that have at least 6 wins. 2 of those 3 are in this game here this afternoon.
And what a job King Rice has done to right the ship here in West Long Branch. A lot has been made about Monmouth's 0-12 start, but right now they are 6-4 in the MAC, in 3rd place, and ready to go to protect their home court against 7-1 Rider.
2 longtime rivals. They've been rivals in 2 different leagues. Very even matchup since they've both been in the MAC, and Monmouth wearing the white will control the tip. Nick Rutherford again getting the start, the 2nd consecutive start for the senior, as Steve, late word, Ray Stalnave is available for King Rice in this game, and the Monmouth leading scorer will come off the bench.
There was reports that Ray Stalnave was initially suspended for 2 games. He was out against Siena on Thursday night, but in uniform and ready to play here this afternoon.
Monmouth attacking the paint. They get their 3rd try, and Quinn puts it in.
But in order for Monmouth to have success in this game against this versatile Rider team, Diago Quinn has to come to play. And a great start for him, offensive rebound and putback.
The Rider starting lineup, as for the first time in MAC play, Jordan Allen will get a start as they get an early look for 3 from Anthony Durham. And Rutherford saves it inbounds. Rider team that is very balanced. They have 4 players that score double figures, and 1 in Tyre Marshall just on the outside of that. They score 77 a game.
Well, Riders, maybe Achilles heel, if you will, has been the fact that they have been falling behind early in a lot of their games and then storming back in the second half to win. And we'll see if Monmouth can jump out early on them in this game.
Shot clock down to 2, and Traore able to beat it. Monmouth with the game's first 4 points.
A fortunate play there for Monmouth as that ball was loose, but Quinn able to pick it up and dish that over to Traore, who's hitting that mid-range jump shot consistently.
And Rider almost forced another turnover, and like you said, that's been one of their MOs all season. And Marshall will be whistled for the offensive foul as he pushed Diago Quinn out of the way.
In some ways, I think Rider is dealing with what Monmouth had to deal with a few years ago. The target is on their back. You know, they are the team that everybody knows. They were the unanimous #1 pick in the preseason, and they're getting every team's best shot. I think that's part of the reason why teams are jumping out on them.
Just shows their true talent, though. because they do fall behind, but they've still won 7 of their first 8 in league play. There's Marshall being a presence down low. Bronx still looking for their first points in this game. Here's Marshall, one of the most improved players in the league. Quinn and Durham tussle for it. It will stay with Ryder. When we spoke to Kevin Baggett, he mentioned the point you just said. It's a combination of watching your players grow and develop because they're still a young team, but also managing expectations that come with being the unanimous pick in the conference after splitting the regular season championship a season ago. Shot clock down to 2, and there's Stevie Jordan, one of the star players in this league. He makes it a 1-point game.
And Stevie Jordan was a first-team preseason pick in the MAC this year. Probably the guy that makes the whole thing go for the Ryder Bronx.
Rutherford, a coast-to-coast layup.
And Ryder likes to trap. They like to press. They'll extend their defense, but what you can't let happen, Rutherford splits right down the middle of the floor. Nobody stops the basketball.
And that layup got Frederick Scott right off the bench, is right on cue. Jordan Allen, who is struggling in league play, hitting under 30%, ties the game.
But Jordan Allen can shoot the basketball, had 6 threes against Wagner earlier this year, 7 at Washington State. If he gets it rolling, you got to make sure you have a hand in his face.
Quinn getting the roll, each team going to its strength as Monmouth regains the early lead.
A nice assertive move by Diago Quinn, who's gotten much better finishing with that left hand this season.
Here's Demencio Vaughn will tee one up. Dion Hammond running down floor. Offensive foul will be called on the Monmouth sophomore.
A really great job there from Stevie Jordan. Cutting Dion Hammond off, beating him to the spot. And maybe selling the call just a little bit on the Hammond push-off.
Well, Stevie Jordan, one of the most talented players in the league. He's a leader for this team, but he seems to have a guy that just has a flair for the dramatic and also for the moment. And that being, I know it's early, but that's a moment where, like you said, maybe sold it a bit.
Well, Stevie Jordan, I think, is the quarterback of this Ryder team, and he does make them go. And as Stevie Jordan goes, this Ryder team will go, and has a lot of firepower around him.
And really, since he's been at Ryder, you remember back this matchup a couple of years ago, he outdueled Monmouth's Justin Robinson on this floor. We'll talk about that and more. We are just underway here on Saturday afternoon, an early Monmouth 2-point lead. Fitting on Super Bowl weekend, a former 2-time Super Bowl champion in the house. That's Leonard Marshall from the Giants teams of the late 80s and early 90s. Appropriate he's here, Steve, with 2 New Jersey teams playing. Growing up a Giants fan, idolized Leonard Marshall and his postseason accomplishments. What a nice guy. We had a chance to meet him before the game.
What a nice man Leonard Marshall is, and it's great that he comes here to show support to the Monmouth Hawks, Eddie.
Wearing his blue. He's got his blue on today. I'll never forget in the 1990 NFC Championship game, the hit he put on Joe Montana.
Oh, it's like an iconic play, isn't it? Coming from behind and chasing Montana down.
That low angle shot.
Yeah, and it's like an NFL Films iconic play, right?
Marshall taking in a good one early on here with Monmouth leading by 2. Diago Quinn again on the glass. You think Leonard Marshall likes the muscles being flexed down low?
Oh, Quinn continues to assert himself. He's just had a phenomenal season. Since the Penn game for Monmouth, Diago Quinn has emerged. King Rice talked about him as battling some early season injuries and didn't really get into rhythm until later in the year. And he looks like he's headed to an all-MAC team this year.
What a layup for Vaughn. He missed a couple from outside, but there he gets one going to the basket.
Oh, Vaughn and his great size. They're so talented. Another guy like Stevie Jordan voted to first team preseason all-MAC.
I think it's kind of weird, though, that Dimencio Vaughn is just the 4th leading scorer on Rider. They have so much balance on that team, Steve. Again, 5 guys scoring double figures. It just seems like any of those 5, though, could go off for 25 on a given night.
And that's why it's so tough to play against a Rider. And when they do get that momentum, they can score points in bunches.
Monmouth 5 of its first 10 from the floor here in the first half. It's a nice move by Rutherford getting inside. And we'll go the other way with the loose ball foul. Oh, no foul. Just out of bounds. Early going here. Rider down 2. We mentioned in the open, they find themselves trailing in a lot of league games. How about they've trailed, Steve, by double figures in 4 of 7. Last time against St. Peter's, they were down 8. Still came back to win.
Even against Iona, which was their 1 league loss, they were down double figures, stormed all the way back to take a second half lead against the Gales, but fell short in that one.
Vaughn, strong take, and he'll go to the line. That game was last Friday night, the ESPNU national game. Ended up being a really good game to watch, and it was, like you said, it was Rider's only league loss this season as they are atop the conference. And at the line here is Dimencio Vaughn, the redshirt sophomore from New York City. One of the better Rider free throw shooters at 72%. It's kind of the one offensive thing in Rider's game as a team that they don't do great is shoot free throws.
Yeah, they've seemed to struggle with free throws throughout the last few years, actually, Eddie, and that's something that could catch up to you, in MAC play and come March, and especially in close games. We got to broadcast their game against St. Peter's last year in the MAC tournament, and they looked like a young team with a lot of expectations that ended up being in a close game. They played a little bit tight. Yep. And we always talk about John Dunn when he was at St. Peter's and being John Dunned, and they got John Dunned in that game come in the MAC tournament.
And they really did, as Rutherford's pass for Traore just a touch high. Here comes Rider, 1-point game. Frederick Scott's checked in. And a turnover. Monmouth's Louis Polari gets it ripped from behind by Vaughn. Turnover, and Rider will bring it up floor.
Oh, what a job by Vaughn to get back on defense there. Great recovery using that length to strip Polari.
Allen cutting to the basket, and Rider with an early lead.
That's a great cut. If you get dribbled at, go back door. Allen with a great cut and finish.
Here's Traore moving well without the ball. That's a strong take for Traore, and he'll go to the line with a chance for 3.
Well, Monmouth's bigs have certainly been the catalyst for them and why they've turned the season around, led by Diago Quinn. But Mustafa Traore has also been a big piece of that. And he gets more and more consistent as the year goes on. That's a great move. When Traore is in that scoring area, his shooting percentages skyrocket. And sometimes he tries post moves a little bit too far away from the rim, but when he's that close, he's very effective.
Off on the free throw. Monmouth's 12 points here in the first half, Steve. 10 of the 12 so far have been in the paint, making a concerted effort to get it down there. Allen short, there's Traore underneath.
That's good defense that time from Polari.
Freshman Sam Chaput now into the front court against Stevie Jordan. Monmouth going to feature Traore a bit, second possession in a row. Spins the other way, and it'll be called for a travel. Switch the pivot foot on that move.
And I'm trying to do a little bit too much. That's one where after he came to that jump stop, he's got to pass that ball out, diagonal skip out to the perimeter.
Two teams trading leads early on. Here's Divine Eke. Provided a boost for this Rider team, but he'll be called for the offensive foul on the dribble exchange.
Well, Divine Eke's coming off a great game against St. Peter's last time out. 12 points, 5 rebounds, 5 steals, but that time gets called for the moving screen on the dribble handoff. How much have we seen that this year? That seems to get called all the time now.
Just seems like within the last few years, like you said, and I know it's a point of emphasis, but that used to be, I think, a smoother action back in the day. Maybe you wouldn't seek the contact out. It's probably been called, I don't know, 300% more in the last few years than it has previous.
Well, it's become such a common action. A lot of teams run dribble handoff, so I think you're seeing a lot more of it called.
Polari's 3 rims in and out. Here comes Jordan. Gonna hand over to Scott. Vaughn's 3 rims out. Monmouth freshman Nikkei Ruddy into the game with the rebound. Chaput, the stutter step and go. What a move by the freshman. These teams trading leads early on. 11:48 to go here in the first. Sam Chaput, the stop, the go, and the lay-in. Welcome back to the Ocean First Bank Center. Monmouth with an early 3-point lead here as we near the midway point in the first half. Monmouth with the lead, but Riders the team that comes in as the top team in the conference. We've mentioned their balanced scoring all season long. We highlighted Frederick Scott in the open. And Steve, hard to pick your poison with this group. They all scored double figures. Add in Tyre Marshall, even as a 5th guy.
Well, all these guys got voted to a team this year in the preseason. Scott, 2nd team, Allen, 3rd team, and Jordan and Vaughn got voted to the 1st team. Vaughn has had a bit of a disjointed year. And he started the year scoring double figures in 7 out of the first 9 games, and he got hurt his ankle, was supposed to be out 4 to 6 weeks, only missed 3 weeks, now trying to get back his rhythm from missing that time and recovering from injury. but another one of those guys that is so talented, can not only attack the rim, but he can shoot it from the outside, and also great defensively with that length.
And there's no question that the team Kevin Baggett has assembled in Lawrenceville is so incredibly talented. And they've checked in Kamar Williams for the first time. Here's the FIU transfer. Came back home from the Philadelphia area. Scott with a drive, and there was contact, but he traveled.
When we talked about Freddie Scott, how talented he is, can put the ball on the floor. And Nikkei Ruddy, Monmouth's freshman, doing a good job staying in front.
That's a tough cover for a big in this league because Scott's got the guard skill set. He's a matchup problem, like you said. Who do you put on him? You go smaller or bigger? It's tough.
Ruddy doing a pretty good job there, and Ruddy's got some versatility to his game. He can step out and guard on the perimeter a little bit.
Chaput slips. Yes, now Louis Polari has it. Had a strong game in Monmouth's last timeout, and here he's fouled by Freddie Scott. So Polari will go to the free throw line.
Well, Louis Polari coming off a great second half. To lead Monmouth, had 10 points for the Hawks against Siena and really sparked them on the offensive end. He's another guy that's been battling injury this year, but has big-time offensive talent, showing that great acceleration and first step to the rim there.
Another one coming for Louis Polari. Shoots it at 84%. There you get a good look at our Rider impact player we highlighted, Frederick Scott. One of the few guys on this roster not from the Northeast, from originally Munster, Indiana. And Polari with those free throws. We'll learn a little bit more about Louis Polari at our next media timeout when we welcome in the third member of our crew. Susie Milano will get you a little bit more information on Louis Polari. It's a great drive to the rim by Kamar Williams.
Wow, really explosive move there. And Chaput was doing a good job earlier in the possession against Williams. But that time, Williams, no wasted dribble, catch and rip through along the baseline.
Fits into this Rider group, Steve, in the sense that when you look at every position, they all have tremendous size for that position. Good defensive possession for Rider. And a loose ball foul will be called on Monmouth Sam Chaput. Kamar Williams' hustle will be rewarded.
Oh, Williams all over Chaput last few possessions. And Chaput trying to do a little bit too much, I think. Really great effort from Williams. And you see Rider changing defenses, going to the zone look there.
Divine Eke will exit the game with Jordan Allen. As Jordan and Vaughn check back in. Pretty even first half as we hit the 10-minute mark here in West Long Branch. These two New Jersey schools doing battle. Scott gonna take Ruddy down to the block. And another travel will be called. Already the fourth turnover for Rider. Monmouth's given it up 5 times already here in the first.
I think Ruddy doing another good job there of holding his ground. Rider running some action to get Freddie Scott a post up after setting a ball screen. And Ruddy doing a good job down there.
Traore exits. He's got 4 points, 3 rebounds in the first half. You see the struggles for Scott there in the lower left of your shot. Not credited with a field goal attempt yet, and he's turned it over 2 times. Rider, which has started slow in a lot of games this year, hanging around. There's Williams with the deflection, but more good hustle from Ruddy. Monmouth's Malik Martin at the free throw line will give the Hawks a 5-point lead.
As fundamental a play as you can have by a player catching the ball at the high post. You catch it, you're patient, you have some poise. Sometimes it's an uncomfortable place to catch for players, and Martin turns and faces up, knocks down the jump shot. Really nice play.
And then he, on the other end, pulls down the rebound. It's kind of weird to catch 360 turn and shoot it, as the great entry pass from Chaput results in a Ruddy layup. And Monmouth on a bit of a run here to take a 7-point lead.
Well, Chaput's been a big part of that second group for Monmouth Nice entry pass there. It's a great job here, and Chaput has his head always up, trying to find his teammates, and Ruddy doing a good job of sealing in transition there.
Monmouth getting really good early minutes from the freshman Nikkei Ruddy. You've mentioned the job he's done defensively on Frederick Scott, that time being assertive with the ball.
Ruddy has shown a lot of physical tools this year for Monmouth, and I think projects to be a pretty good player. We've said in the past that his biggest problem has been catching the basketball in traffic, and that's a skill that big guys need to have. Once he does catch it, he's a tremendous finisher around the rim. He's very athletic, he's long, he's strong, and I think once he starts catching that ball more consistently, we're going to see bigger and bigger games from him.
Monmouth with 3 field goals in a row. Williams and Jordan on the floor. A dual point guard look for Kevin Baggett, and more good defense from Chaput. Chaput going into another gear to the rim.
Chaput has just been such a great difference maker for Monmouth, and it all started in league play. Struggled a little bit in the non-conference, but once Monmouth hit league play, Chaput has played at a different level.
Well, you can see the speed that he put on as well, right at midcourt. Just ran away from 2 Rider defenders. Big block from Diago Quinn. Eke able to put it in, and that stops the Monmouth scoring run.
Good job there. Staying active along the glass, and Eke going to finish. But Chaput, you see that speed, like you said. They get in that basketball and basically outrunning the Rider defense. They couldn't get back and catch Chaput. And he's a guy that's always seems to do the right play, right? Whether it's on defense, he always fights over the top of screens. Offensively, he makes the right play, either giving it up like Malik Martin should have done there. Malik Martin should have either passed that ball up or come to a jump shot, a little bit out of control.
It'll be his first foul as Eke was set. Now, he might have been set when Malik Martin, right when he crossed half court. Eke was down there a long time.
And Malik Martin's left-handed, so he's going to a strong hand there, and he's comfortable elevating and trying to finish. But that one, I think he has to give up.
Monmouth continuing that advantage down in the block as they hold a 7-point lead. Vaughn to the offhand for him, his right hand. And Quinn pulls it down on the other side. Rutherford leading Martin. The tough catch, the tougher finish.
Well, how about that look first from Rutherford, and then Malik Martin, he caught it, but he came to a jump stop, 2-foot stop, and then the pivot and finish.
Rutherford throwing the bomb downfield on Super Bowl weekend. Wouldn't be a game if we didn't sneak in a couple of football references, right?
We love the football reference, Eddie.
It's a strong take by Eke, but he stepped out of bounds. Monmouth has made its last 5 from the floor. They're turning defense to offense. Rutherford, the touchdown pass to Malik Martin. An early 9-point lead for Monmouth here in the Ocean First Bank Center. And with more on Monmouth's Louis Polari, let's say good afternoon to Susie Milano.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, it's no secret that Louis Polari had a bit of a slower start this season, and of course, like you mentioned, that foot injury that had him out 4 to 5 games this season, which those injuries like that midseason are very tough physically, but more than anything mentally. And Coach King Rice said that he started seeing those mental effects with Louis and had to sit him down and say, Lou, calm down, stop thinking about your numbers, go out there and just play, throw something up, something's going to sink, and then you're going to remember that feeling. And that's what he did in their last game versus Siena. Like you guys mentioned, he had that monster second half, and hoping that that's the one to open the gates and let him run through the rest of the season. Guys.
Thank you very much, Suze. And Steve, Louis Polari gets to hear the thing from his head coach I think every player wants to hear. Be aggressive, shoot the ball. King Rice wants him to do that and be a force.
King Rice is a huge fan of Louis Polari and knows how talented he is. And I think King Rice believes that Louis Polari maybe just thinks too much on the court. You know, and he just wants Louis to play and react and let it fly if he's open. We know how talented of an offensive player he is, and Monmouth's going to need him to score as this year goes on.
9-point lead for Monmouth. Another backdoor cut. This one was Scott. And he will go to the free throw line. Is Ryder trying to generate something on the offensive end of the floor? As that foul will go on Diago Quinn. It's his first foul.
And great find there by Stevie Jordan and a phenomenal cut by Freddie Scott.
You love the one-handed bounce pass when you don't even have to put the offhand on the ball. That's a rhythm pass.
Well, Eddie, I'm a Princeton offense guy, and that's a pass you throw in the Princeton offense. You know, one-handed bounce pass right off the dribble. A nice, well-done play there from Stevie Jordan.
Another Scott free throw on the way. Each team has made 2 of 3 from the line here this afternoon. Scott able to knock down a pair. Monmouth's Dion Hammond will fire a 3, and that high arcer falls for Dion Hammond to push the lead to 10.
I think Freddie Scott was surprised that Dion Hammond took that 3. You got to make sure you have a hand up. Hammond shooting the ball really well as of late.
Monmouth trying to get out and run again. Rutherford behind the back and is fouled.
How about Rutherford there, huh? We haven't seen Rutherford go to that one. Even Dion Hammond, you look at Hammond, he's laughing right now. I think he surprised everyone in the gym. Rutherford loves going left here, but behind the back, I wonder if he knew Freddie Scott was there. Because if he did, he might not have done that.
Well, you mentioned that his strong hand is his left hand. And think about it, I guess that's one way if you're left-handed to not go to your left, but still kind of do it. Right, because Stevie Jordan overran the play, and if Freddie Scott's not there, it's probably a layup.
Stevie Jordan is a guy who's pretty adept at stealing the basketball.
Right.
And Nick Rutherford might have thought that Stevie Jordan was coming in to strip him.
Like undercut him, yeah.
Put that ball behind his back and not let him get it. Hey, it worked out. He got to the free throw line, made both free throws.
Monmouth lead is 12 now in the first half. Monmouth shooting 60% from the field here as Jordan will sit down. Also Kamar Washington. Or excuse me, Kamar Williams not in the game, so we'll see who runs it for Ryder. And you can see they didn't seem in sync that possession. And Monmouth will get it back after the Bronx 7th first half turnover.
Well, Nick Rutherford switched off onto Freddie Scott. The problem is that entry pass from Divine Eke was just a poor pass. You know, Scott's advantage is his size against Rutherford. You don't want to throw a low bounce pass. You want to throw it high and let Scott go get it against the smaller Rutherford.
So right after that possession, Kevin Baggett gets in one of his point guards as Kamar Williams is checked back in.
Well, that high-low pass from the top of the key there rarely is a bounce pass. Should be a lob pass or a two-hand over-the-head bullet pass right to somebody's chest.
Now Quinn gets poked in the eye by Scott. At least made it look like he did, and that'll be Frederick Scott's first foul.
Now, if you're a Ryder fan, you're probably watching this game saying, here we go again, another league game where Ryder falls behind early. I think the obvious concern is, when does that eventually come back and bite you? We know how talented they are and how explosive they are, but do they leave themselves too much to do? Well, right now, it hasn't really hurt them in league play. They're 7-1. You worry about that as a trend going forward the rest of the year, but really in the MAC tournament.
Was Scott's second foul, so he'll have to sit down, you assume, for the remainder of the first half. Monmouth now 5 out of 6 from the free throw line. Mentioned Ryder's struggles from the free throw line this season. Monmouth shoots him at just under 70%. Quinn especially, a 71% free throw shooter for your big man. Knocks down both, made it look smooth, and Monmouth with a 2-touchdown lead. I'll stop.
Who you got tomorrow?
You want to do it now?
Yeah, who you got?
The Rams.
Do you really?
I do.
It's hard for me to see Tom Brady losing.
I like Los Angeles's front four. I think they get pressure with 4.
And that's how you beat him.
That's how you beat him in the Super Bowl specifically. Yep. Big time defensive play at the rim. Traore, Quinn and company challenging, and Monmouth will get the basketball back.
What a great defensive effort from the Monmouth Hawks so far in this first half. Explosive Ryder, only 17 points, just about the 5-minute mark.
Well, that's been a trend. Monmouth at home in league games, Steve, has been lights out defensively. They've held a handful of opponents under 60 points. They pound it down low again. Quinn muscling one up. A one-handed rebound from Vaughn as we go down the other way.
And I thought Quinn needed to go to that left hand. He's been using that hand so well.
Durham bumped. They wave the shot off. Hammond, the guilty party on the foul. It'll be his 3rd foul. So Dion Hammond will have to come out with under 5 minutes to go in the first.
Durham doing a good job there, putting pressure on Hammond. Catching the ball, ripping it through, being aggressive.
Go down low, and it'll be another travel. This one on Ajira Ogimonu Johnson.
A little bit of a hop right before he went into his dribble move. That's a good call.
Four minutes, 30 seconds to go here in the first. Monmouth shooting over 50% from the floor. Polari going to go to the floater.
That's a great take there by Louis Polari. A phenomenal crossover move and explosiveness to the rim.
Monmouth up by 16 points here on Saturday against Ryder. No Bronx field goals for almost 4 minutes. And Monmouth looking for more. Here's Rutherford, changing gears, throwing one up and going to the free throw line.
Now Rutherford there, a little fortunate to get that foul call in some traffic, but Monmouth Hawks in total control right now in the first half, up 16.
Monmouth leading first place Ryder by 16 points, 33-17. Steve Bazaz, Eddie Acapinti with you. Susie Milano part of the crew today as well. And Steve, Monmouth out to a lead against the top team in the league, Ryder, showing its muscle in this first half.
Well, the name of the game for Monmouth, especially in this building, has been their defense. Ryder right now only shooting 30%, 6 of 20 from the outside and only 2 of 9 from 3. They're coming off a win where they did not hit a 3 against St. Peter's. We'll see if Monmouth can keep up the defense. This has been the story for Ryder this whole season. They fall behind early, and then they storm back late. And in conference play, they're 7-1. It hasn't come back to bite them yet, but Monmouth needs to keep riding this momentum and their defense, try to extend this lead as much as they can and give Ryder more work to do in the second half.
Rutherford knocking down a couple. And the last time these two teams played in this building, remember, a game you and I broadcasted, and Monmouth, led by Micah Seaborn in that game, had a huge win against Ryder, but this one being done differently here today with the defensive effort that King Rice's team is putting on.
Well, this is the way Monmouth is built to win games now. They're built to win with their defense, with their strength, and with their size advantage. A lot of that is led by Nick Rutherford. He's playing a phenomenal role for Monmouth this year. And has carved out that role. Initially he was the starting point guard. He's been starting the last couple games with Ray Salnave being suspended. But he comes in off the bench, provides instant energy, typically guards the other team's best player or their point guard. Makes a lot of things happen. Rutherford also maybe the best rebounding guard in the league.
It's a strong drive by Divine Eke. That snaps an 11-0 Monmouth scoring run as they're going to fire up a Louis Polari 3 and an offensive rebound for Diago Quinn.
That's a good look there for Polari in transition, and a great job Diago Quinn with the long rebound and throwing that ball back out and letting Rutherford run some offense.
The turnover. Here's Vaughn leading the 3-on-1. Eke 4 in a row.
That's how Ryder gets back into games. Their defense, their length. Vaughn poking that one out, able to get an easy basket.
Well, you mentioned their length as well, and an offensive foul will be called. Eke bothering Traore in the backcourt. And then Jordan got discarded by Nick Rutherford. His first foul will sit him down, and Sam Chaput will come back in.
Oh, good substitution here to get Chaput back in the game. He had success earlier in the first half. And Malik Martin comes in for Traore, so a little bit more versatility in ball handling with Malik Martin coming in and Traore going out.
Stevie Jordan getting his instructions from Kevin Baggett. Ryder scored the last 4, trying to take some momentum here in the halftime. Vaughn muscling one up and in.
Oh, what a tough matchup Vaughn is. And catching that ball at the pinch post there and just backing his way down on McClary and showing off his strength too. Monmouth has to do a better job of helping out, making Vaughn give that one up.
Demencio Vaughn can see the size and strength of the redshirt sophomore. He converts the 3-point play. So now 7-0 Ryder run to make this an 11-point game. Diago Quinn all alone down low, and he'll go to the line.
It's a great job by Monmouth of execution against the press. You want to punish the press and score off of it. Nice job of advancing that basketball. Love to see Monmouth throw that ball up. Quinn could get an angle to throw an alley-oop and have him go and catch it and finish it without getting fouled. He'll have to earn it on the free throw line here.
When I looked up, Quinn was alone, but literally right in front of the rim.
And no angle there for an alley-oop.
It's the nice roll. Monmouth now 9 out of 10 from the free throw line. This is maybe the best offensive half King Rice's team has played since they beat Iona 83-81. That was a couple Sundays ago.
Monmouth right now shooting 57% from the floor and 10 of 11 from the free throw line. They're only 1 of 4 from 3, Eddie, so doing their damage at the rim.
13-point Monmouth lead as we are inside 2 minutes here in the first half. Coming up at halftime, we'll take a look at the players of the week in the league. We'll also look at the league standings again as Jordan loses it, goes to the ground, and Pappas pulls it away. Here's Chaput navigating through traffic and a foul called near midcourt. And then he and Durham get into it just a little bit. It seemed like Chaput and Durham got tangled up right when the freshman crossed half court.
Well, Chaput has given Monmouth great minutes so far in this game. He's got 4 points and 2 assists, but has done a really good job of breaking the press. And some fancy dribbling there with a couple Rider guys on him around half court. And maybe some extracurriculars after the whistle. We'll see.
So that's how it started. That was the Jordan scrum and there's Durham involved in the back end of the play. Now let's see as he looks to foul Chaput and then,
I don't know. Come on, let guys be competitive.
Well, and you have to know what happened that led to that, right? So on the one end, Jordan goes to the ground, and then Pappas and Durham are fighting for it. So already guys are kind of scrambling and scrambling a bit. And then 2 of those 3 then involved at midcourt. We've all played some level of sport, and once you get kind of shoved once or, a guy rips the ball from you once, it's kind of human nature, right, to be physical. I also think that we have a very different view of what this kind of play and review looks like than we did a couple of years ago. So we'll see. Our officials are over at the monitor now.
Well, so if I'm King Rice, I'm saying, no, he threw an elbow. And if I'm Kevin Baggett, I say, come on, let him play.
All right, physical game.
As a neutral party, Eddie, watching this play, I say play on. Let him play. Referees, this is a time to warn everybody. No more stuff after the whistle. We're all good. Move on and play.
I don't see the warning as much anymore, right? It just seems like it's more right to a foul. I respect a good warning.
Me too.
One of those stern, you see it more in soccer, right? They pull the player aside and they give him the very no at the hands, right? But I'm with you on that. I like that because then you set the tone for physicality. Our officials having a long conversation here. So while we have a minute coming up at the half again, Steve and I will take a look at the players of the week. We'll take a look at the standings again, and these 2 teams near the top of the league in the standings. We'll also look at first half highlights, and I'll be joined by our friend, Monmouth head baseball coach Dean Ehalt will come over, and myself and Coach Ehalt will chat about the upcoming baseball season. Monmouth won the regular season championship in the MAC last year, and right now our officials are keeping Steve and I abreast of what's going on. So you can hear it in Steve's mic just a bit, and what we'll do is when Steve, and it is going to be a foul, and it's going to be more than just a common foul. Now Steve got a very detailed explanation, so my friend, the floor is yours to relay the message.
Well, that was a great explanation, by the way.
Very detailed, yes.
Yeah, so it's a new rule. So Chaput's going to go and shoot the regular common foul free throws.
Because Ryder's in the double bonus. It'll be 2 anyway.
Yep. So then after that, it looks like Polari is going to be the technical foul shooter. So he'll go and shoot the dead ball technical. And then I believe Monmouth will also get the ball back. So if Monmouth makes their free throws here, they'll get the ball back. This could be a 6-point possession here for the Hawks.
Now that replaces an older rule where you would shoot the technical free throws first, then you put Chaput on the line for a normal 2.
Yep. So now Polari will go to the line for the technicals. Even so, Monmouth could have a big possession here if they're able to inbound the basketball after the free throws and score off of it.
Yeah, you can circle this moment as a critical one in the first half with 96 seconds to go. It was 37-24 when Monmouth started shooting free throws. So another one for Polari, who knocks them both down, and it's allowed Monmouth to extend the lead to 16 points and still inbound the ball.
And it looks like they can pick the side of the court of which they want to inbound too. Heard one of our officials say, what side do you want? Monmouth goes opposite here in front of us at the scores table, and 3 points on free throws, and if Monmouth can score in this possession, that could be a big part in this game.
Chaput's going to try to finish things off. Got hung up in the air as we race down floor the other way. Here's Vaughn. And he's going to go to the free throw line as Malik Martin will be called for a foul. Vaughn tried to put the entire crowd on a poster with that one, and he'll have to earn him from the line.
Yeah, and I think Vaughn maybe struggled by that ankle, just couldn't get off the ground there to finish. Official came running in, said Malik Martin got him on the elbow. And Malik Martin, after first not really agreeing with the foul call, turned and looked at his teammates and said, I got him,
yeah,
I hit him.
And we just had the replay. It looked like, so Vaughn's left-handed. It looks like Martin clipped his right arm on that move to the rim. I was kind of rooting for Vaughn to throw that down, by the way, because that goes right to the SportsCenter top 10 if that one goes down.
Yeah, he was throwing that down. Emphatic drive to the rim there.
I think he made up his mind to try to dunk literally at midcourt.
Yeah.
I love that. Be aggressive. So Ryder will keep the press on. It's been a big reason that's helped them get back in the game. And they keep the pressure on. Here's Durham. The steal. It's a 4-on-2. The Euro step. And a foul called before the offensive rebound can be pulled down by Karamoko Sisek.
And you look at King Rice, he is really arguing for a foul. He thinks Chaput is getting ridden up the court by the Ryder defense. Now Chaput might be going a little bit too fast for his own good. Realizes that the length of Ryder is so good at turning the basketball over and creating steals. He might have gotten a little bit too deep and also too fast. But King Rice wants that call. Guys riding his point guards along the sideline.
Free throw shooting contest here late in the first half as Ryder makes it a 12-point game. Here's Chaput navigating, leaves 4 guys behind him. Inside of 1 minute, Monmouth with a 12-point lead. Chaput and Williams into the lane. Pappas couldn't get a handle on it, and another turnover. And then Ryder gives it right back.
The old turnover, Eddie. Very frustrating for coaches.
Huge offensive rebound for Ruddy. Ryder coming away. They're getting 50-50 balls, and now they'll control with about a 1.5 seconds difference between the game and the shot clock.
This place would have exploded if that 3 went in for Polari. Ruddy had the ball in his hands, just lost it. Pappas couldn't get the shot off. He was wide open. Now Ryder with a chance to trim this lead before halftime.
Well, it'd be huge for Ryder if they could go into halftime down 10 or 9, but Chaput forces Williams into the backcourt.
Now Chaput just looks like a guy who's going to win a lot of games in his career. He's a winning player. He makes winning plays. He sees Williams looking at Kevin Baggett. He goes for the steal, and it forces Williams to step over the line, backcourt violation. It's a great heady play by a freshman point guard, Sam Chaput.
Going to move Monmouth up, let him inbound it on their side of the floor. Great energy from the freshman Sam Chaput, who continues it, but what a huge block from the far side.